All right, all right, all right. Hello, everybody. Hi, happy spooky season. So we're trying something a little different today. How is it hanging? Are you guys ready for some fun art content that has to do with the spooky season and art styles and vlogs and stuff? Cause wow, look at that. I'm back. I'm back, and I've talked about it, and I'm working at it, and yeah. So I hope you guys are ready to stick around. But like the title says and the thumbnail, we're talking about art styles today. Yep, yum, 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 yum. Because I think it is something super fun that has grown around a lot and grown around a lot. The whole art topic of style is something very big in the community. I can't tell you how many artists I've met that are like still like, oh, I haven't found my thing. I haven't done this. And we put all of us in the art community put such a big emphasis on that, on what is style, what makes us ours, what makes us iconic, what makes us special. It comes down from a baser need of like, we want to be known for a thing. You know what I mean? Like, what is our thing? And the short answer is art style just takes time. It takes a lot of time. And I'm sure you guys have also talked about like Frankensteining styles and stuff like that back and forth and showing, you know, how things used to be and how they are now, and how some people are very protective of stuff and some people are maybe a little too loose about it. So I'm strictly going to be talking about it now from a professional lens. If you are simply a hobbyist and you still want to enjoy this video, you don't want to make art your job, you don't want to be professional about it, that's fine. I hope you enjoyed the video, but if none of this stuff relates to you, well, you're a hobbyist, and I'm not saying that to belittle you. I'm saying this in a more professional sense for the topic of this art video. So I hope that clears up a few things. All right, and now so we don't step on any toes, got our paper here. I'm going to be comparing my art styles over the years and how I've gotten to where I am now, right? So we're first going to start off with my fursona. Yes, yes, I'm a furry. Hope you're happy. It might sound silly to be like, I didn't realize I was one, but you know, that's kind of how it is. So we're going to be looking at my very old fursona that I made back in like, oh geez, 2012. Is that what the watermark says? Yeah, 2012. Compared to my more recent one that I made now. So the 2012 one, I was fresh out of high school. I was anywhere between 18 or 19, depending on when I drew the picture at hand. I'm just happy I had the date. I don't remember the exact month I posted it. But in here, especially in 2012, was when I really discovered like furry artists and fur affinity and things like that. And I was trying to do more with my art because, again, in high school, it's all I did. And if any of you guys are old fans of the channel and old people here, you know that I had a very weird early adult life compared to some people, you know, so I had a lot of time to experiment and explore and discover things. And the what's important about here is this was actually my first ever instance of using thicker lines. We're going to be looking at older artwork, even older artwork than this, a little bit later, and comparing it and some of my OCs and things from then to now. But this is very important because this is when I was like, all right, this is when I wanted to focus on shapes. Obviously, it says here, thick and curvy. That's not what this is. I didn't know how to do body types. It was 2012. All right. The internet wasn't what it is now. And then we're going to show that, you know, I have my color swatches. I have my little details here. I also didn't know how to do a reference sheet, obviously, as I hand wrote everything, and I'm 99% sure this was done in Paint Tool Sci. And you can just see the differences between that and now. And now we're going to look at my current reference sheet. So my current reference sheet, if you're wondering about the name, it is my Hebrew name. I am a Jewish person. And I am also non-binary. They're my pride flags. Enjoy them. Anyway, so the differences here and there, right? So I had a Star Dragon Sona a million years ago, and now that Star Dragons are an open species, we're not talking about that in this video. I might make a video in the future talking about open species and stuff like that, but yeah, that's not what this is about. So, and if you're also wondering, like, wait, Meech, if this is your fursona, what is Cleo? Well, if you haven't been on my Twitch sphere, My whole shtick is that I'm a witch possessing the body of a teenage cat girl. A teenage cat girl. Ugh! That came out so wrong. She is not a teenager. Oh my god. Editing Michi, cut that out. Please. Ooh. Lord. Anyway, or keep it in for comedic effect. I don't know. Why did I say teenager? Cleo died when she was in her 20s. Ooh. I am a witch possessing the body of a demon cat girl. There we go. Okay, there we go. Maybe I'll keep it in for comedic effect. I don't know. If you guys are new here, my content's more rambly and chit-chatty than, like, properly scripted and stuff. I'm trying, all right? I'm trying. Yeah, but I don't got the brain juice for it. Anyway, so we're gonna look at the new one, right? Fun fact. For my new one, I've had some people be like, oh, wow, this is so creative. This is so great. Like, what? Like, wow, how'd you come up with your style in this? The difference is jarring, you know? I made my reference sheet this year when I am 31 over the reference sheet I made in 2012 when I was 18, 19. And as for the outfits and stuff, especially on the newer reference, these were all outfits I just own. I wasn't creative with them. I'm like, these are just things I have. I have my Beetlejuice musical. I have my pajama pants. I have all the other stuff. But I wanted to make a reference sheet more readable, and I looked up reference sheets of what I had before that. And especially if you have something like a persona, or if you have a character with important marks on them, maybe they have important scars or important tattoos, it's good to have stuff that's readable like this. Another big difference here is I actually learned about what tone and values are. It took a long time, as well as body types. I actually based this off of my real body type. I'm just small. Very small. Same with the hairstyle. But, you know, and then I wanted to go with things that I enjoyed. Obviously, I still kept the paleness of it, you know, the white cat in the first one, and the gray in the updated one. I will say I am a dirty little cheat, and I didn't want to draw my wedding ring because my Claudad ring is a little bit painful. So I am a dirty cheater, and I definitely traced a picture of my ring for the reference sheet for personal use. I know, I'm awful, I'm disgusting. Anyway, I just wanted to clarify that out there, because I don't see a problem with tracing when it's for little things that aren't for profit, especially when they're little things that nobody uses and is actually pretty industry standard. So there's that, but I wanted to point that out there because sometimes that's not a bad thing. Again, like everything I stated before. And then at the bottom, if you also notice, I've been putting more aesthetics and like vibes in my current reference sheets and stuff like that, because here's the thing. Well, I know how I want my character to be, and I know who I am. The random person drawing me, my Sona, whatever, or the character probably doesn't. So this will give him a good vibe of kind of what's going on here, you know? And you might be like, wow, well, wait, where's the chunks? Where's the thick line art? Again, you're going to see that in the next references we're going to show in a little bit here. But this was for myself, and I just wanted this thing done. I was like, wait, why am I going above and beyond? It's for me. I love my good, chunky, thick line art, but I don't really feel the time or the energy to waste on doing that right now. So I'm not going to, and I didn't. Wow, here we are. So now we're going to go back to when I was researching for this video. I went to my DeviantArt because, of course I did. DeviantArt is, while a hell pit, so is everywhere for an artist. I mean, I'm sure there's a million videos out there where people are like, well, where am I supposed to go? What are we supposed to do? And at least the cool thing about DA is, for me, it's like a time capsule, and I have been posting there again slowly. I am much more active on my other social media, link down below. Feel free to follow. I'm not dead. I have to always emphasize that because people are like, oh, you're posting again, and I'm like, I've been posting. I'm sorry that the mean gods don't like showing you the things when I do post. It doesn't help that I also haven't been posting a lot. Anyway, so we're gonna look at this next picture here, right? This is from also 2012. Wow, wild shocker. And we have the redraw from 2011 to 2012. Obviously, there's a big jump here in less than a year because it's March of 2012 from January of 2011. Actually, no, that's January. I'm wrong. That's over a year. But this is a really big jump in how I was drawing at the time. as you can see, wow, I did a learning, right? I was like, oh, okay, how I shaded skin, I didn't like that. So I did studies on tone, value, hue, saturation, and I learned more about stuff. Besides just learning about the color wheel. If you guys want a really good in-depth video about color theory that explains it in a better professional sense than me, Uwu Greninja, I'll have their YouTube channel on the screen for you guys. Or I think they're actually Rhea now. I don't, everybody rebrands, and I'm no different. But I will have their YouTube on the screen. And they have a really good video talking about that more in depth if you want to click that and learn about it in that way. I'm not going to go into that here because I'm not good at explaining that stuff. So anyway, I did my studies. I did things like that, and I was discovering that I wanted to make things more to slowly where my style is now. You can see the bare bones in where my style is today in my 2012 piece of my Tetsu Chibi here. You know, again, line art, it's okay, but the soft shading with it, and then the pop of colors, specifically the pop of colors, because my shading is what I really, really am happy about here. You know, having the warmth from the skin tone to the shading, having the monotone for the outfit, having the cool tones for her hair, trying to add more differentiation. I can't speak. Adding more definition and bounce to it than it was previously, right? And as you can see here, I also started incorporating more softer shaded stuff. And now we're gonna go over to this handy dandy little thing. Early me. And we're gonna look at this thing called an influence map. I genuinely forgot about this until I was researching the video and I found it in my DA submissions. And I thought, oh my god, this is such an epitome of me at the time. This is so perfect of what it is. And we are going to have here, we have a book that I read. We have Disney, because I was a big Disney kid. We have Tim Burton. I put Nightmare Before Christmas. Fun fact, that actually wasn't my favorite Tim Burton movie, but I just wanted to have Tim Burton on there in some way. Obviously, we have Jonan Vasquez. I probably said his name wrong. I'm awful with pronunciating things, but he was a big inspiration for her. My friend Anna, or she used to go by Aeroflex Dracona, now goes by Marb the Monstar on other stuff. She's very active on Twitch, Twitter, and Instagram over like her YouTube, so that was an art thing she did. BioShock, it's the game that saved my life. And my most shamed influence here, if you know, you know, but I'm not even gonna bring it up as the little person at the corner. But you can see from this influence map, the shading of my 2012 stuff carried over from here. You can see where my influences are here. And so with this, right, I wanted to make an updated influencer map without using my friends, because that's the hard part here, right? I love my friends. I love my buddies. They are a huge inspiration to me, but I felt like it would be a cop-out if I just used my friends. So I strictly am going to use, for the upcoming parts now, artwork that inspires me today and has inspired me for many years to having the style that I have today. For where I had, and I will put it on screen, editing Michi, from these Tetsu Chibis to my most recent piece. And you'll be able to see what I'm talking about here when we go into that point. Yeah. All right, look at this. Ain't it great? We got Photoshop going on here. We're doing all good. I just felt like it'd be easier for me to do it this way, so that way I can just zoom into things without having to make my editor cursed, and my editor is also me. So, yeah. So, we are going to get on the line. I'm going to name the artists that are here, so you guys can go follow them. I will also have them all linked in the description down below, probably under my links, because that's just how the YouTube bot works, but yeah. So, first big inspiration here is Crooked Glasses. I've loved Crooked Glasses' stuff for years. I love the angular style. They were a huge inspiration for my current chunky line art, as you can see of how they have it here. I just love whatever this vibe is. This vibe, the pops of color, the harsh darks, because that's something else I really enjoy. Not everybody is like this, but I love a good harsh black. I know a lot of people don't. A lot of people like doing the blue. A lot of people doing that, and that is fine. That is what makes style different. when we are going to make an influence map of what you like the most, I don't want you to pick every single thing that inspires you. I want you to really sit and think and be like, what about this art or about this person's technique do I love? Do I love the most? That I just, it, every time I look at it, it's the first thing I think about. All right. And it's going to take some time to be able to pinpoint that kind of stuff. It's not, again, this is not something I'm going to get overnight. But also, if you end up making this little collage going on here, you'll end up finding very similar vibes and being able to connect with what you like. And then it is taking those same similar vibes and putting them into your Frankenstein art style that most people talk about when they say an art style really is just Frankensteining things that you enjoy from other people. So big on that. Next, we are moving over here. We are moving to Ashley Zombie, or Zombie Guts, as she goes by now. A lot of her artwork inspires me, but I also had to be very careful because she does a lot of horror art, and I love horror art, but you know, YouTube does not. So I picked one of the safe bets that I felt like pops out to my style the most, and it was these little chibis here. So I have started, and I will also slap on screen, yes, editing Michi, you're gonna have to work again, one of my more recent pictures, zoom in on it so you can see what I'm talking about here. But the way Zombie does this cross-hatching, not stippling, but the little sketchiness of the shadows in her character's hair and in her shading, as you can see here, we'll zoom in a little bit more. I ripped these off of Twitter, so if they're not high quality, I got them off of Twitter. But like the sketchiness of it, as you can see, the details here. Ironically enough, I had the Cleo swirl pupil before Zombie started doing this swirly thing, but obviously I've been loving it to death, you know. And then of course, also has some Cyclopses. Hee, I am very biased, but I loved this. The second I saw the sketchy shading here, I was like, I want that. That's so neat. But I don't want the way Zombie does it. I just like this technique. And that's when I was able to merge it with my colors to be able to get the current sketchy style that I have now for my shading and my highlights. Right? So there we go. Something else I was able to pinpoint from here was like, I'm going to take that and do that. So now another big inspiration of mine, obviously, is Dino Lich here. Dino Lich on Twitter, Instagram, all that stuff. This is from Moss's graphic novel, Halloween. Not sponsored. I bought both of them. If you like fun early 2000 vibes, a pretty decent middle grade book, it's great. And again, something I've always loved with Moss's stuff is I love how they have always been able to get their characters' personalities in every single picture. Now, granted, that's sort of like a thing you're supposed to do with all art, according to, you know, the professionals, is even if a character's standing still, you should be able to tell what their character is thinking, but just, I have always loved the composition, the character dynamics, and honestly, how they do friends. Like, how they do their character dynamics has something that's inspired me when I draw my characters or I think of my beans, is I'm like, I want to have them interacting in the same space. And I also love the limited color palettes here. It looks like there's a lot of colors going on in this picture, but realistically it's not. It's a lot of gradients, it's a lot of fades, and it's a lot of movement. So what I tried getting from Moss's stuff for me was more of the fluidity in the expressions. You can also tell, especially with Miles's nose here. With Miles's nose, it's a big inspiration. Same with the mouth, of how I tend to draw noses and mouths when I do characters like that. And also, I'm not gonna lie, cough, cough, put it on screen, Michelle. My character, Hazel, was not originally designed after I just said his name. And Miles, after Miles. But I obviously didn't want it to be a complete knockoff of him, because that's not how it works. Hazel was actually a character that I made for a zine. Again, I'll slap that on screen real quick because it's older artwork. And then I wanted to do a redesign, and then I fell in love with their redesign, and then also made them non-binary. So, you know, because I wanted more NBs out there. And I wanted to have the kind of same vibe, and you can definitely see it. You can definitely see it, especially when I have it here, that was something I was inspired by, which also There's nothing wrong with having characters inspired by other people's stuff as long as it's not a perfect ripoff of the character. That's another thing out there. I have seen people, and this is just a little heads up for anybody right now who is watching, who is nervous or something. As long as it's not a carbon copy, I don't care. I've had people ask me, like, before, where they're like, oh, what if I made mages with colored hair and, like, different things? And I was like, that's fine. I don't own that. As long as they don't look like my characters, I don't care. No, I have had people that I have seen some Cleo knockoffs, and I have seen stuff out there. But as I've gotten older, I also just don't care. I know it sounds bad, but as I've gotten older, I'm sitting here like, you know what? I'm going to let them have their fun. I'm not going to start a witch hunt. I'm not going to make them upset, especially if they're just doing something for fun and not for profit. Like, if they're just whatever, doing what it is, again, I can't say that I don't do the same thing. And I know for a fact a lot of your favorite artists and a lot of my friends and mutuals, they have done that too. And it's fine. Inspiration is not stealing. So we are now moving over to another very big inspiration of mine is, and honestly, the best thing I can say for this one, this is done by Bewitched Inc. on Twitter. Love her stuff. Biggest thing from her, stripes and vibes. Her stuff is so vibey and aesthetic, and it just scratches every itch, which is really funny because, like, I don't really have a soft painted style. I don't do the sketchy lines that she does. I don't do the shading that she does, but every time she posts something, I just want to eat it up because I love the colors and the vibes and the emotions in her work. And so I wanted something similar with that. So a good example is this is one of my favorite pieces where it's just a bunch of different stuff. I have been trying to incorporate more props and more items into my characters and into my illustrative pieces where it has a purpose that's not just clutter for clutter's sake. It's for, like, again, just a vibe. And so that was something I wanted to make sure I went for. And then, wow, here we go again. This one is for Beckno Kid. Beckno Kid, I'm not going to talk too much on their stuff. Also love their stuff. Beckno Kid on Twitter. But their big thing for me, their expressions. I love big cartoony expressions. And while I like very, like, cartoony, shapy styles, I still like the I like this good mesh. This very good mesh of, and I've liked this for years. I've liked this since, like, DeviantArt and stuff. I've been a fan of Beckno for a long time. And I think we're mutuals on Twitter, and if we are, hi! Hope you don't mind me using this in my video. But, like, again, you can see that, like, my mouths, a lot of my mouth style, a lot of me drawing, like, the gum line and the tongues and, like, fun, like, extra lines for the teeth and for the eyes and stuff like here. The expressions. I loved the expressions. I would just look at Beckno's art all the time whenever they would post stuff, and I would I'd gobble it up. Every time they post a new thing, I'm like, yes. Same with body types. They are also very, very versatile in their body types and their jijinkas. And so now we have, you guys probably know this one. If not, this is Star Pyrite or Starpy. And I can be very specific with Starpy's. I love Starpy's work. I love her style. I love things like that. I love the halftone. I've been using halftones in a little bit of my art more. But the big thing about Starpy's art that I always wanted to eat was the eyes. Was this right here. The little shines and highlights in the eyelashes. And because with my style, I don't really do the big anime ugu eyes. I've tried. I can do it. It just doesn't hit when I see it in other people's stuff. I like my small, thin lines, my small, thin eyes. Sometimes I don't even draw the eyeball at all. I just do, like, a little line, which you will see when I post up, like, my citrus picture. But the little eye shines here, I wanted that. And it was something that I also took a long time to get to. It took a lot of practice. It took a lot of studies. It took a lot of figuring things out. Because I didn't want to just straight up copy Starpy stuff. This works for Starpy style. That's not what I wanted. I wanted it to mold into what I was making and mold into what I was trying to get with. And I feel like I finally got it. I finally got the inspiration I wanted from the eye shines to put it in my eyes. Another big thing, too, was that I like different eyelash shapes. I like different eye shapes. I like working with things like that to make characters stand out a bit more. And so then we have Drawkill. This is Drawkill. And might be the one that stands out the most from this like pop of color vomit inspiration that I have here. But again, it goes down to just, I love when the muted tones are muted, they just, mwah, they pop more. And so what I was able to get from this was, one, the sketchy style of the blacks I mostly do in my traditional work, but I have done it in my digital work from time to time. I really love how they do whites. I love the creams. I love the paleness of the skin. And I tend to put that more into my stuff to where I'm not doing whites anymore. I am not doing that. Like a good example, here we go on my PNG tuber right here for my Halloween vibes, right? Which, by the way, you will see different color variations throughout the month and throughout the spooky season because, like I said, it's spooky season now. But right here, we're going to look at mine, right? And this was sketched out by Gunmooney and then inked and colored by me. So I can't say that I fully designed it because Gunmooney did, and we love them here. But I wanted to make it so the whites are not actually a white. As you can see, Cleo's white clown face paint is whiter than the lapel and the like ruffles here. And those are actually more of like a cool white. But what I do to make it pop with the color so it doesn't really look like a white, it just looks more like a cream or a peach, is I started doing what Drawkill does. I used the line art here to get rid of my harsh blacks on the whites. So with color theory, it doesn't look like a white. It doesn't look like a that. It looks more like an orange and a creamy. And when I do different colors, it's also like, it'll look like a purpley, like a greeny, like stuff like that. And that was something that I was able to get from Drawkill, from studying their stuff, from seeing how their art went, and being able to incorporate what I liked about it into my own style. All right, we're almost done. We're almost done here, all right? All right, we got 2 more left. We got 2 more big ones here. So I am awful at pronouncing this. So here you go. Here is their username. They are on Instagram. And what I like the most about their artwork is I like how they have the 2 shading here, right? I tried doing the lines that they do in my style. It didn't work well. I've done many studies. I did many practices. It just didn't mesh with how I Frankenstein the other things together. But they were a huge inspiration for how I had my double shading. You know, how I have my normal shading and then I go through with a darker shading color. And then I'll also add highlights, a little extra hair here and there. And for going back and coloring in things like the eyelash here, and we'll zoom in a little bit more, like you can see here, and then I added those where I add the little highlight shine to my eyes, so that way it looks like they're a little softer and they pop a bit more. As well as, again, I love that pop of color. I know I'm a goth person, but I love the vibrancy of it. And then, last, but certainly not least, one of my biggest inspirations that has been an inspiration to me, yes, take a shot every time I say inspiration, since I was a wee little bab, and it is Brianna Garcia here. And this is one of the pictures that I took from her Instagram. Here is how her name is spelled. Again, everyone will be linked down below. And this is specifically her Halloween Horror Nights characters. She is a very famous artist. And I am lucky enough that I was actually able to table at a few cons that she was at, and I got some signed copies from her, and she even remembered me. And did it make me almost cry? Yes, because huge inspiration to me. And her big thing is body types. Her body types are such a huge inspiration to me for all of them that I try to incorporate it into all of my work, because she just has such a fun way of getting silhouettes down, movement down, character things down. And as you can see as well, I picked this one specifically because it is just my aesthetic and my vibe. And this is a part of her Halloween Horror Nights series here. But it's all of it. And it's also been things that I've slowly added to, like, oh no, we're going all over the place. Oh no, my canvas. Come on. Let's zoom in here. Yeah, so this is why it was going to be better for me to do it with Photoshop than me trying to edit this in. And this is also just a rip from Instagram. You can see here that it's a little crunchy, but that's okay. If you can see right here by the lippy, Let's try zooming in a little bit more, but it might be a little too crunchy. There's a little bit of highlight here that adds depth in the smile. And that's things I started doing as well. I started adding highlights in places to make things look more three-dimensional and to add more volume to certain things, as well as, obviously, like we were saying, movement. I'm trying to add more movement into my pieces, and yeah, that's what we got for my current inspiration map. And after I pointed out all of those things, we're gonna slap editing Michi, you know what to do, a picture of mine on the screen. Yep, look at that. You can definitely see the inspiration here. I'm pretty sure I know the one I'm going with. I'm probably gonna go with my Patreon sticker club for September, which is my character Citrus, with a fun little candy gore theme, because I wanted to, you know, mess with more of the spookums. Yeah. So, this is where we practice and we study. We study and practice the things we like. And this is where we're going to go back around. All right. Here's the big thing. I'm going to tell you something that most people are not. Trace it. Trace the artwork. Don't post it. Trace it for study purposes. What is something about the artwork you like that just makes your brain go burr? Trace it. Flat it. Try mimicking the style over it like a painting. Try to have something next to it. Figure it out. This is what I meant by studying and practice. And this is the something that takes, well, obviously, years. As we've shown before, most people's styles start one way and they end up going another. It's just how it ends up happening. And something I want to point out on how things change is we are going to end off on one last example here. And it's also example for me. So we are going to go back to the art screen. Yeah, look at this. All right. And so I'm sure, and again, any veterans here, any veterans will know this character right here. This is my character, Nyx. Fun fact, she was kind of like a beta Cleo before I fleshed Cleo out properly. She was a star dragon. She was a character that I drew every Halloween on YouTube. I have an illustration piece that I may or may not be redrawing this year. And this was done back in 2016. Right? So I am now in my 20s. I'm older now. As you can see from my older artwork you shared earlier, I can kind of get anatomy down. I can try to figure things out here. And this is something I remember I had friends at the time point out to me, and I just didn't want to hear it. I didn't want to hear it. And I had friends being like, Meech, you need to do line variation. Your lines are too thick. There's not enough here. Like, it looks like tubes. And at the time, 2016 me didn't give a I didn't care. I was like, I don't care. I like it. And me now looking back on it, I'm like, yeah, the line art's clean, but it is pretty stiff. Also, there's parts here that, like, I messed up on that I didn't even realize, right? Like, I like the differentiation of the cool tones, the warm tones, and the hair, but then I messed up with the fingers here. I messed up with the lace here. I used a lot of brushes to try to make it look like texture, but instead it just looks kind of funky. Like, this doesn't, to me now, this doesn't read as a fishnet material. This reads as like a weird doily kind of thing, which is not what I originally wanted. The gemstone's pretty good. I can still give them that. But when it comes to references, and this is a fun fact out there for people who are doing references for your characters, don't do this. Don't do the shading. But if you do the shading for color theory reasons, remember what I brought up earlier about my PNG here? If you're going to do that, I think that's fine, but you need a color code next to it. You need color swatches. I didn't have that. People had to just grab and go from this, right? And this is a character, loved to death, thought it was great. And you know what? I wanted to redesign her. But I didn't want to change a lot because I still liked her vibe. I just wanted to update her to today. And that's what we're going to do. So, ready? Bum, ba, da, bum. What's this with the magic of I had already done this? We got it here. And now we are going to point out what I meant about stealing other people's styles to make it your own, right? We're going to zoom in here. Very crunchy, because I used a textured line art here. See, we have the mouths here. I wanted to do the orange here so it can show that her forehead shale isn't just a birthmark or markings. It's like an actual rock, which is why I also made sure that even though the references are mirrored, it looks more unnatural, like stones are. And if you look over here, something I got rid of was I got rid of her gradient, and I got rid of her eye bags here. Simply because I felt like it was just cluttering her design too much. Something else I did was I got rid of the hair split. I did. I have too many characters with that hair split. Hair splits are good, but for me, I felt like I don't need more. Cleo and another character of mine are more than enough. So, I didn't want to fully just give her black hair or give her white hair. So, I gave her the, I was going to call it the Morticia Adams. That's not what it is. I think it's the Lily Munster. I'll put a picture on screen. It's an old black and white little show that I used to watch as a kid, right? And so I gave her that, where it's got the little strip here, so that way she's got her hair, she's still got her big ringlets, because I wanted to keep with the, like, doll aesthetic kind of thing. When I first made her, a big inspiration for her was Claudia from Interview with a Vampire, because I love that series. Something else here is, again, I wanted to draw, she was always supposed to be short and plus-sized. Now, she is, and before people get mad at me, I know this is a thick, but she got a tummy roll. Got a little tummy roll there. Yeah. You know, while here, I was slowly learning body size and proportion. Here, I feel like, oh yeah, that girl got some squish. That girl got some squish on her. And so, again, with the color theory, I was like, all right, we're going to use the orange here to make the parts here pop, so it looks like it's that way. I wanted to have it be a nice readable reference sheet, so I have the color swatches on the side. Here, let me get rid of that so you can see the white is in fact there. And then, same thing, we have my little aesthetic vibes here, my important info. Not a good hand. This is not my best hand, I will admit. But doesn't really matter because, again, what was it? Oh, right, I did it for me. But I wanted to show here that her fingers have the gradient going on, because while that was done here, not shown as well. Not shown as fluidly. You know, it just looks kind of like, I don't really know how to shade at the time. I wanted it to look like, okay, yeah, her fingers and her little beans, her little toes, have the gradient going on. Now we're going to go with the back view, right? So this is something I did make on, I made this on stream, so I had chat's approval for it. We got her little booty back there, and then we have where her tail sits. I know this is not an anatomically correct tail, but also, what about her is anatomically correct? She gets mistaken as a cow, and she's not a cow. She's more like a mouse Starcrafter thing, but I don't mind if people call her a cow. I can totally see it. You know, and then she got her little shale here on the sides. And I wanted to keep that little strip here as well for her tail, because I liked that. And then we worked on with her markings. And then here, I wanted to show that, again, she curls her hair. So, for her hair being down, I made sure to make it be flat. Because this is another thing a lot of people don't tend to realize when you're working on characters and you're designing things and learning is volume. Curls obviously go upwards, so when it's down, it's going to be down. It's the same thing with Cleo and her ponytail. Like, when Cleo's ponytail is down, her hair's a lot longer because she wears a ponytail. So, I also made sure to put little notes here, you know, have my kind of vibes going on. As you can tell, I'm a very basic person. But I feel like the nakedness didn't really do justice. So, I redesigned her Queen of Halloween outfit. Yes, I did. So, this is the new outfit with what I have learned compared to what I did before. Again, this outfit was not designed by me. I need to clarify that as well. The redesign was, but the original outfit was done by Snail of Approval on Tumblr as a commission. I think they go by Impossible Snail or Weird at Midnight on Twitter. Just as a heads up. I will be warned though, just so you guys know, I don't really care, but I know there are some people out there. They mostly do not safe for work art now, so just be prepared for that. If you are looking that up, which also means kids, if you are finding this video, because it is YouTube, don't look it up. Alright? Again, I'm an adult. Things like that. Yada yada. Let's get into the outfit. So, the original outfit, I didn't know about tone, I didn't know about value, which is why it looked nice, but a lot of stuff was lost in translation. So I wanted to fix that, right? So with what I learned through my style studies and through things here and there, I needed to learn how to make things pop more. Wanted the dress to be mostly black. Kay kept that. Wanted to make sure it didn't mess with the hair and the style going on so it looks like it pops out more. All right, we did that. I picked a new color palette. I added another color here because while I love my monochrome with I pop a color, I do. For Nyx, it felt flat. It didn't fit. For certain characters of mine, like Cleo, they have strict rules to that. She didn't, so there was no reason for me to keep that. So I found a more muted orange, some nice purples, and some things here and there. And I just started going to town, and I was experimenting, and I was moving things around. I put the orange here, put the purple here, yada, 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 until I was able to get what I wanted, which felt like a very fun, readable outfit. And this is her little Queen of Halloween outfit. Another thing, too, as for the bangs covering her eyes, simple answer is, I just thought it'd be cute. There's no real reason for it. I've liked that kind of look on characters. And I didn't really have a character that had their eyes covered by their bangs before. And I wanted to do that, which is why I wanted to have, when we see here again, when her hair is pulled back, some characters do it to hide things. Nyx just has really cute little eyes, little X pupils. Because also, wow, who would have thought? I like X pupils, and I like fun, funky shaped pupils over just the normal circle. Because fantasy is fun and reality is dull. But you can definitely see the improvement here in how my style went from this to this, but you can still see the essence of the original character in the redesign. And that was something that I wanted to talk about with style, is it doesn't always take as long as it did for me. And I think a big reason why it took so long for me to end out this video, because I've been rambling, whoo boy, for a long time, so I hope you guys enjoy that. I know you like the longer content. And I do too. This was very fun to talk about. It's very, very nostalgic and a fun bringing back to how things used to be. But a big reason, gotta love the ADHD where I talk about like 9 tangents while I'm trying to go on one thing. Let me look back at my notes. Why I think it took so long for me to find my style and to find my confidence and to find things where I am now is simply because instead of doing my studies, instead of doing my experiments, instead of figuring things out there, I'm sure like a lot of you, I ended up hating my art. I didn't like how it looked. It didn't flow the way that other people's did. It didn't hit that itch the way other people's do. It didn't inspire me. My own art didn't inspire me. When I looked at it, I'm like, yeah, I'm proud of that. I'm very proud of that. That was about it, though. Now I sit here and I've talked about this on Twitch before, where I'll look at something and I'm genuinely excited about it. I'm like, wow, this looks great. I'm so happy with this. I've worked so hard to get to where I am now by finally accepting and doing the not fun stuff, taking the time out of my day where I made the style map. Heck, for this video, it took me a good chunk of hours because I was trying to find pictures that hit the itch for what I wanted for the artist I was trying to use. And I had the hardest time not being able to use my friends because my friends inspire me a lot. But that's just it. And it's not, oh, well, you've become a better artist, so of course you're having better artist friends. That's not it at all. I have a lot of amazing artist friends that are pretty amateur artists. No, nothing about that. They just don't have as much skill and experience as other people. And they inspire me every day. When I see their growth and their improvement, I'm like, this is what people were talking about with me. Because I had people tell me that. They're like, wow, you're improving so fast and you're doing this and that. And I'm like, no, I'm not. My stuff is bad, or my art's it's not what I wanted. Oh, why can't my art be like so-and-so's? Why is it not looking right? Oh my god, why can't I draw the other eye? Which, by the way, that is not at all why I like Cyclopses. I saw someone be like, oh my god, of course you don't have to worry about drawing the other eye. This only draws Cyclopses. I have other characters. We've shown it. Same with the whole, I remember I had a comment of someone being like, oh, why are you using the mirror tool so much? Because it's a tool. It's a tool for studying and learning. Alright? And so that's what I wanted to say here. Have fun. Look at what makes you excited about art. Look at what makes you excited about characters. And this is something I wish I looked at sooner. If something about a character you love seems just a little off, really take time to think about that. Take time to think about it, look at it, see what you're trying to figure out, and try to pinpoint what it is. Sometimes it's as simple as you just don't understand color theory. Like, the outfit's fine, the things are there, they kind of flow okay. Because that was me for the longest time, and this is a thing that a lot of younger artists have done. And I'm not saying younger as in age, I'm saying younger as in experience. Because we don't know color theory, we don't know things like that, we don't understand how things like fit on a body, we don't understand how things work in like a 3D space on a 2D platform. It just looks off, and we don't know why. And then when we are open to critique, we see it. We see it. We see what's going on. We can see how we can change things. We experiment a bit. You know, a very good tool is like looking up color palettes. Like, literally just look up color palettes. Like, go to like colorpalette.com or whatever, or aesthetic color palettes, and see what catches your eye. See what colors keep catching your eye. See what things keep hitting that itch. And then try to see how you can incorporate that into your stuff. And then enjoy it. Have fun. And play around, because sooner or later, your art style will find you. And you'll almost forget about the journey of how you got here. Because that was me. Honestly, I've been drawing so much for so long that when I look at my older artwork, I'm like, oh God, what was I thinking? But I remember me, right? I remember little me spending, God, 3 hours on a reference sheet that now, if I were to draw the same way, I could get done in like 30 minutes to an hour. And that's a very proud flex, I can say, you know? And that's what I'm sure a lot of other people can say as well. But remember the fun with it. Remember the enjoyment, which, especially when art is our job, it can be something that can be so hard to do. Which is also why, when trying to find your style, if you're not doing it professionally and it's for you and just for studying, then have fun with it. Make the bad art. Make the mistakes. And, yeah. Let me know about your art journey down below. I genuinely do want to hear it. Or styles that really inspire you. I also want to figure that out. So, yeah. All right. Let's just get into the end here, because my voice hurts. But thank you all for listening. Thank you for being here. Please remember to like, comment, and subscribe for the bot. I'm excited for Spooky Scary Skeleton season. Hope you are too. Thank you as always to my amazing patrons. And I will see you guys next time. Bye-bye.